Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ryan here. WWE Hell in a Cell 2016 has just concluded. I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the show. It did take place out of Boston, Massachusetts. I didn't end up going. I was kind of looking at tickets, decided against going, but hey, you know what? After seeing this show, I kind of admit I regret not going because I thought it was a pretty darn good show. So I'm just going to run down the card now. I feel like I have to cough, so if I cough at certain points, I'm just gonna run with it. I tried recording this a bunch of times and started coughing, so I'm just gonna give you the warning there. So we open up on the pre-show with a cruiserweight six-man tag match: Cedric Alexander, Lince Dorado, Sin Cara versus Tony Nese, Drew Gallagher, Arya Daivari. Babyface team with Cedric Alexander ends up getting the win. Thought this was a nice little fun match just to get the crowd going. Not too much to say other than that. I like to see Cedric Alexander. He's really fun to watch, and I'm expecting him to be a much bigger part of the Cruiserweight division as things go on. Now, opening up the proper Hell in a Cell pay-per-view was the Hell in a Cell match itself, which was Roman Reigns versus Rusev. This match was probably the biggest disappointment for me because I think I was just expecting a lot more and a lot more physicality, and even though it was very physical, it wasn't quite it didn't meet my expectations, even though I thought it was fine. So that's the big disappointment for me. I wish it could have been there just could have been a little bit more to it, but was what it was. Roman Reigns retains. Next up, we had Bayley versus Dana Brooke. Not too much to say other than happy to see Bayley get the win. Not too much of an interesting feud, and not really much else to say. Bayley won. Then we had I might be a little out of order with the matches here. I think Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins went on next. If it didn't, I'm not sure. But anyway, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins was, to me, the match of the night. These guys really stole the show, and people will argue should this have been the main event? Should the women have gone on last? I still think the women should have gone on last, but that doesn't mean that this still isn't my favorite match on the card. Really liked the way that they utilized the cell. I love the sequences between Owens and Rollins, the one where they just kept hitting each other with moves before they both went down. Some awesome spots. Love the creative way they got Jericho involved with the fire extinguisher on the ref, so that the door opened so Jericho could get in. This is just an awesome match. They had some awesome spots, and it was just a really fun match, and the one I enjoyed the most. We had a tag team match with Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Gallows and Anderson. I liked the opening promo with Enzo and Cass. And of course, Gallows and Anderson get the win. Really happy to see them win. Obviously, they haven't been treated as great on Monday Night Raw as of late. So they really needed this win a lot more than Enzo and Cass did. So I'm really happy to see that. Kevin Owens won the Hell in a Cell match, by the way. I did not mention that, so just wanted to point that out. After the Hell in a Cell match, I actually think we had TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick. I ended up really liking this match a lot more than I thought I was. I wasn't a huge fan of the whole after school special promos and backstage segments that have been going on throughout Raw, but the whole Brian Kendrick wanting Perkins to lay down for him actually created an interesting story to be told during the match itself. So I ended up actually really enjoying the match because there was that story going in, and it was being translated into the match itself in the ring. And then it was pretty cool to see Kendrick fake out TJ Perkins, feign an injury, so that he could get that win that he was so desperate to get to as is his last shot at making it. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed it because of that. Then we had the Tag Team Championship match, The New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus. I thought it was pretty cool to see the way that they ended this match, and I thought it was a fine match for what it was, and it was really cool to first of all see Xavier Woods really show off more of what this guy can do, because he does not get enough time to show off how good he actually is. People forget how good this guy actually is, but the sequences to end this match actually really had me believing that there was a good chance that Cesaro and Sheamus could win, which I really don't want to see at this point. We're so committed to this New Day tag title reign that I really want to see them break the record. So a very creative way, even though it ended in a DQ with Cesaro and Sheamus winning via DQ, the way that they did it actually created a lot of drama that, oh my god, the New Day could actually lose here, because it seemed like a very believable sequence for that to happen. Finally, I think we covered all the matches aside from the main event, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, Hell in a Cell. This match was, I thought it was a great match, and they were pretty creative with how they went about doing this. The match gets off the gate right away. Charlotte's just going crazy on Sasha and throws her out as the cell's coming down. And I was really worried that the cell was just going to close down on Sasha. Obviously, they had this planned out so that the cage was going to stop at a certain point. But, you're just thinking in the back of your mind, oh my god, you know what the hell's going to happen. Anyway, they do this crazy table spot, power bomb. Sasha was hanging onto the cage, and then Charlotte power bombs her through the announce table. This table breaks. They didn't have much luck later on, but this was a hell of a table spot. And then they did the Mick Foley, put her on a stretcher, call the match off the spot, which is starting to get a little old. They did this with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, and I felt like this was just kind of filler. It did create a little bit of drama, but I don't really think the amount of time it took was worth it. This pay-per-view ended up ending 15 minutes overtime, and basically 10 minutes were wasted on this stretcher spot or whatever they wanted to do. And then the actual match really got underway when Sasha, got it when she heard she was going to be forfeiting the match, so she gets off the stretcher, gets in the cell, and the real match starts. And you know what? These women, they put it all on the line, and they had an excellent match. I thought it was a lot better than the Roman Reigns Rusev match, and the one downside that took away from it was they just didn't have luck with either table spot they tried to do. They just really didn't have enough force in either of the ones that they tried. Charlotte didn't fall hard enough on the table spot on the outside of the ring. And then I feel like if Sasha had set the table up a little bit more vertical, when Charlotte ended up throwing her through, she would have been able to break through. But the way it was angled, it was really hard for Charlotte to get a good throw of Sasha onto the table. And she tried to do it twice. And at that point, I think it's a good call that she just went for the finisher to end the match. Because once you keep doing it over and over again, it just looks like we're trying way too hard to do this one spot to end the match. So good call to just end it there. But that ending just left the match a little lukewarm because, there were two spots that could have been a lot better that didn't end up being so. But other than that, this match was really great. There was some good chair spots. I loved Sasha grabbing the chair when she was stuck in the figure eight and just hitting Sasha with the chair to get out of it. This was a hell of a match. They put in a lot of great effort, and I think it delivered. Was it the best match of the night? No, not in my opinion, but it was definitely the second best match for me, and I was just happy that it went well. And you know what? 2 blown table spots or whatever, because the rest of the show and the rest of the match was great. So overall, I give this show on our magical 1 to 4 rating scale, I'll give this a 3 out of 4. I thought this was a much better Raw pay-per-view than the previous one. And yeah, I really enjoyed it for the most part. So make sure to let me us know what you thought of Hell in a Cell. It's late, guys. I'm a little tired. It's been a long day. But let us know in the comments below what you thought about Hell in a Cell. What was your favorite match? What did you think of the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match? Did it deliver for you? Should it have been in the main event? I think it should have been the main event because you know what? It's a historical match. It's Sasha's hometown. It really made sense to go on last. So even though it wasn't the best match, I still think it deserved to go on last. We'll of course be talking about the fallout of this pay-per-view, Raw and SmackDown, this Wednesday on the podcast, on this YouTube channel. So make sure to look out for that. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting us, head on over to patreon.com/Byte That, where you can get different rewards, instant rewards, just for showing a little bit of support for the channel, including things like early access to some of our videos and a not live, but raw and uncut footage, video footage of when we record the podcast. You can also check out some of our other SRT videos, including 5 great WWE returns, plenty of other content to check out. So thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to discussing Hell in a Cell and Raw and SmackDown this Wednesday on the podcast. So see you guys then.